Chronicles of the Galactic Angelic Guardian. Part 4. Shadows of Betrayal, Extended Edition. Do not seek the truth if you are not prepared to burn. Inscription on the Forbidden Vault of Thalion Prime. The Sky in Chains. Kalor's Reach burned. Flames crawled like serpents through the shattered ruins, feeding on the bodies of Dominion soldiers and the wreckage of their machines. The air boiled with smoke and molten rain as drop pods tore into the ground, disgorging wave after wave of twisted warriors. Above, the storm split apart to reveal a sky shackled by black warships, monolithic carriers looming like executioners. Their engines pulsed with void fire, drawing light from the stars themselves, until the heavens dimmed and the world drowned in shadow. Seraphael stood at the heart of the storm, wings blazing like twin suns against the darkness. His sword, Elysian, burned in his grip, a pillar of light that screamed hymns older than time. Every sweep of its edge shattered enemies like glass, every strike resonating through the bones of the earth. But for all his fury, the tide did not break. Dominion forces moved with relentless precision, an ocean of steel and shadows, endless and unyielding, and at their head came a figure vast as a god. The Herald of Vorgath. It descended like a falling star, crashing into the ruins with an impact that split the ground in two. Dust and fire billowed as the creature rose, a colossus clad in armor black as the void, veined with rivers of molten crimson. Chains writhed around its limbs, screaming with voices that begged for death. In its gauntlet burned a weapon like no mortal blade. A son of darkness, a sphere of writhing void fire tethered to a hilt of obsidian. The air around it bent and broke, reality screaming as the weapon drank light like blood. Its voice rolled like thunder across the ruins. Seraphael. The name was not spoken. It was carved into existence, each syllable flaying the silence. Seraphael's gaze met the Colossus, and for a heartbeat the galaxy stilled. "You are no brother of mine," he said, wings flaring with fire. The Herald laughed, a sound like chains breaking. "I was once, you just do not remember." The Battle of the Herald. They collided with the force of colliding suns. The Herald swung its void sphere, the weapon screaming with gravitational hunger, tearing chunks of the temple from the earth as it whipped through the air. Seraphael met it with Elysian, and when light struck darkness, the shockwave flattened the ruins, ripping towers from their roots and hurling them into the storm. Blades sang, wings flared. The sky became a battlefield of gods. Seraphael darted through the air, his wings lashing arcs of radiance that seared through steel and shadow alike. The Herald matched his fury with crushing blows that warped the very air, every strike pulling at the seams of reality. The earth cracked, rivers boiled, and mountains shattered under their wrath. "You should have stayed in the void," the Herald roared, slamming its weapon into the ground. A tidal wave of darkness erupted outward, swallowing light and life alike. Seraphael drove his blade into the storm, anchoring himself in brilliance. Radiance burst from him like a nova, shredding the tide before it could devour the rebels behind him. For an instant, the light prevailed. Then the Herald's laughter returned, cold and cruel. "Do you still not see, old friend? Do you not remember who I am?" And as it tore away its helm, Seraphael saw a face he knew, a face he had sworn to protect. The shattered memory. The features were broken, warped by centuries of shadow, but the eyes were the same. Once bright with the fire of creation, now drowning in void. "Kalion," Seraphael whispered. The name tasted of ash. Once, Kalion had been a seraph like him, his brother in arms, his comrade in the First War of Light. They had fought side by side in 1,000 battles, sworn to defend the galaxy even at the cost of eternity. And now Kalion knelt to Vorgath. "He showed me the truth," Kalion hissed, voice twisting with rage and sorrow. "We were never saviors. We were tyrants. The Order did not protect the galaxy. They enslaved it." The words struck like a blade. "Lies," Seraphael growled, but the certainty in his voice faltered. Kalion's smile was hollow. "You think we were guardians? We burned worlds that would not kneel. We cast down kings and crowned puppets in their place. We called it light, but it was only control." Memories stirred like broken glass in Seraphael's mind. Fragments he had locked away, wounds he had never dared to touch. Fires, cities falling, voices screaming his name in terror. "No," he whispered. "We brought order." "At the cost of freedom," Kalion spat. "You were blind then. You are blind now. Vorgath opened my eyes. and with a roar the herald struck. The breaking of light. The battle resumed with renewed fury, a storm of wings and chains, of radiance and ruins that Seraphael fought like the dawn itself, his blade carving hymns of fire through the dark. But Kalion was no longer the brother he knew. He was shadow incarnate, his weapon a vortex of hunger that drank light with every clash. Every strike tore more of Seraphael apart, not his flesh, but his soul. The fractures deepened. His essence bled away in streams of brilliance, feathers crumbling like burning parchment. And then, the herald struck Elysian from his grasp. The blade spun through the void, crashing into the ruins far below. Seraphael staggered as Kalion's chain coiled around his wings, dragging him down into the earth with a force that shattered mountains. Pinned beneath the weight of darkness, Seraphael felt the world closing in. Kalion leaned close, his voice a whisper of venom. "He waits for you, brother. Vorgath waits. He will show you the truth as he showed me. And when he does..." His grin widened, cruel and hollow. "You will thank him." The chain tightened. Darkness surged. And then the sky split with fire as Asha's warship screamed into the storm, guns blazing like judgment. The escape and the revelation. The chain snapped. Seraphael tore free in a burst of radiance, seizing Asha's outstretched hand as Kalor's projection flared in warning. The ship roared skyward, engines bleeding fire, as the ruins vanished beneath a tide of shadows. But Seraphael did not look back. He stared into the storm, where Kalion's laughter echoed like a curse. "What truth?" Asha demanded, her voice sharp with fear and fury. What did he mean? Seraphael's gaze was cold as the void. "That our war is not what I believed. That the Order's light may not have been light at all." Kalor's voice cut through the silence. "Then you are ready to hear what I have hidden." Seraphael turned to the AI, his voice a blade. "Speak." Kalor hesitated, glyphs flickering across its form. Then softly, "The Dominion was not born from darkness, it was born from us." Next in the series, Part 5. The Battle of the Cradle Nebula. Seraphael confronts Vorgath at last, in a clash that will ignite the birth of stars and the death of truths.